If you're exhausted as a leader, this is for you. Why micromanagement actually can be solved with coaching. I'm Ruth Kudzi. This is the Coaching Hub. I am definitely someone who has micromanaged in the past, so I need to hear this and remind myself of it too. So often we micromanage from a place of control and from lack. It can seem so much easier, especially when we're under stress and pressure, to just get things done. If you're like me and you're goal orientated and you really are passionate about what you do, it may feel easier to shoot off a list of demands, to double check they're being done, because when you do that, you know that you have control. But it is exhausting because control is such an interesting concept. It isn't often when you're a micromanager, it isn't that we want to control others, it's that we want to control the process. And I tell you what, when you run your own business, it can be such a difficult place to be. So if you're a business owner, I am talking to you because I feel that there is a different layer going on there that you will not understand if you work for someone else, because ultimately you have all of the responsibility. However, if you stay holding that all, managing it all, controlling it all, you are on a fast track to burnout. So let's think about how can we actually use coaching skills to get rid of this need for control. And it takes me back to Deci and Ryan. So Deci and Ryan talk about the 3 ingredients that people need to thrive in their roles: autonomy, connection and relatedness, and competence. So what I have found in the past, both in my business and in my former career, is that often micromanaging comes from this fact that we maybe don't have the right people in the right roles. So maybe there is a competence gap, which really should be filled by training and skills development. However, because we might be thinking short-term versus long-term, we fill it with systems, processes, and what can appear as micromanagement. So we're wanting to do that kind of a heavy lifting in the competence space. But then what happens is that the people don't have autonomy in terms of what they do. So that can decrease engagement. And then when people are less engaged, it's harder to build relatedness. So actually, by solving that competency gap with micromanagement, we're actually starting to destroy autonomy and relatedness, and therefore engagement at work is plummeting, and therefore so is performance. So what's the solution? The solution is a coaching approach. And when you are stretched for time, it seems like the wildest solution that is out there, because it takes time. It takes time to really listen to people. It takes time to build relationships. It takes time to hear other opinions. It takes time to allow people to make mistakes. And because of that, we can keep holding on to everything. So it's about a shift in focus from short term to long term. What do I need to do today so in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I'm not holding everything? How can I give people autonomy and agency? Because many leaders, especially if you're micromanaging, are stuck in decision-making fatigue. You have so many decisions and it feels like nobody else is making them. But the fact is, and I say this with love because I have been there, the fact is, because we have been controlling, it actually creates a situation where trust is eroded. Trust is eroded because it feels like we are the only people making decisions. So it doesn't feel like to others that we trust them to make it. And therefore they don't. And therefore we carry more. And therefore we trust less. And you can see it becoming a cycle and a cycle. But with all of those decisions, we can get really overwhelmed. Our nervous system, our cortisol, our adrenaline, our noradrenaline goes up. And actually, we are much more likely to be activated. So that's when we start to get anxious, worried, annoyed, irritated, frustrated. And that, again, doesn't build great working relationships. So what I would suggest is to start to think about, what are the decisions that only I can make? And where can I outsource or give people autonomy? What really matters and what doesn't? If you start to allow people to make decisions, if you start to give people space to work things out, you're going to start to reduce your cognitive load. And what that means is that your levels of stress, your levels of arousal will go down, your cognitive capacity will go up, and you'll be able to make more effective decisions. So first of all, it's about creating space for autonomy. Then you're wanting to think about how you can create space to deeply listen to people. Listening without agenda, listening with curiosity, to build relatedness and trust and safety so people know that they can share. People know that they can share with confidence. People know that you will hold confidentiality if needed, but equally they know it's safe to get things wrong. And one of the ways that you can do this is very simple. Model it. Model getting things wrong. Share, be vulnerable, apologize, say, actually, in this case, I got it wrong. That didn't work. This is what I learned. Having that growth-based approach to mistakes is absolutely key, because all of us will make mistakes. We're all human. One of the things that I say to my team is, what can we learn? Because the mistake isn't the problem. If we are learning from it, if we won't do it again, or if we will learn, maybe not do it quite so much, then that is great learning. So start to change the way that you look at things. Help people to see the learning, help people to apply that learning. Explore the thinking behind that learning. Meet people where they are. Be present with them. Again, when we have got 1,000,001 things and we feel like we need to hold everything, presence can go, especially if we're very goal orientated. And when we're not present, it can feel like we don't value people. Again, we're going back to that relatedness. If we don't feel that connection, and actually it decreases engagement, it decreases performance, it actually isn't good for our brains. So instead of holding things tightly, start to think about what you can let go of. If you start having more open conversations, if you start giving people more autonomy, if you allow failure, if it's safe to be vulnerable, if it's safe to get things wrong, if you really listen and notice, you can start to embed coaching practices, which mean that you don't have to hold so much, which mean that you don't have to do so much, which mean that you have more space. And in that space, you have more time to make decisions. Alongside all of this, there are simple things that we can do as leaders. Blocking out our diary, not having back-to-back meetings, not always replying to our team members straight away on email, giving them space, showing that we need space, because people are always watching, consciously or unconsciously, at what you do. If you start to model an approach where you need space, where you self-lead, others take ownership. And that's what you want. So if you have been micromanaging, no, you don't need to continue. And maybe own up, fess up to your team. Say, I know that I've been controlling here. This is why I would love your support with this, because I know that if we share autonomy, if we share decision-making, if we share agency, we will be more effective. And I can't imagine anybody saying, no, I don't want to. It's a much better place to be in. But equally, remember that neural pathways have been there for a long time. So if you default back, you are always allowed to reset, recalibrate, share, be vulnerable, let others know that you've taken a little step back, but you're going back into what do they want? What can they do? How can they support? And what do they think? I hope that's useful. Comment below, how do you reduce micromanagement in your team? If you've enjoyed this, share it with a friend or a colleague, subscribe and follow, and come and visit our website, Optimus Coach Academy. We'd love to hear from you.